I said something on Instagram. I posted a short form content on Instagram yesterday talking about how the camera industry in Nigeria, I don't know if it's the same thing across the world, is becoming to feel like and act just the same way with the car industry in Nigeria, where everybody is just focused on Toyota and Honda. Just like that, people are now focusing on every photographer, videographer are just, putting all their attention on Canon and Sony. Meanwhile, other camera factories, other camera brands are doing, cinematic machines, exceptional cameras. They are releasing exceptional cameras. And we are not seeing this thing because we are so used to Sony. If you have been paying attention to the camera industry lately, you will notice that choosing a camera today is lots more confusing than it used to be. Few years ago, things were more straightforward. People will say things like, if you want to go into photography, go for Nikon. If you want to go into video, go for Canon. Then before you know, later on, Sony became, the obvious choice for video production. And those lines were clear. But now, today, those lines no longer exist. Every major camera brand is now pushing serious video features, and the competition is getting tighter more than ever. New camera releases are being released with spec. Just few years ago, were only available on high-end cinema system. This has changed how filmmakers make decisions, and it has also created a lot of noise, hype, and confusion. In this video today, I want to break things down clearly, not from a brand loyalty angle, not an hype or marketing. I'm sharing my perspective as a documentary filmmaker based on research, official information, and real-world conversation in the filmmaking space. And I'll walk you through how we get here and why Nikon's recent move matter a lot, and what all of this means for filmmakers today, especially if you're working at the prosumer level, like not the pro level. So I'm heading out to see one of my guys. Then I'm just trying to make this YouTube like a vlogging style video and all of that. So I'm going out to meet one of my guys. He has a Lumix S1 Mark II. Is like 12 or 13 minutes drive away from me. So I'm going out now to go check it out. All of the things I'm going to be saying in this video are not from experience. They are from things I've seen online, and I also want to just bring somebody that has experience about this camera here so that he can also speak more and let us know if it is worth switching from Sony to either Lumix, Nikon, whatever. Catch you on the other side. When Sony introduces the A7 series and later A7S Mark II, mirrorless video camera became serious. Internal 4K, strong low light performance, smaller body. Sony made video more accessible, and before long, the video market was filled with Sony cameras. For years, Sony dominated the conversation around mirrorless video cameras, and it was really amazing. And at the same time, Panasonic was, quietly doing something important. Cameras like the GH4, the GH5 gave filmmakers tools that they have been asking for, like solid codecs, strong video features, and reliability. Panasonic did not try everything. They were just focused on kind of doing video, focused cameras. Canon and Nikon, on the other hand, were a bit slower to move away from DSLR. I remember Nikon especially was late to mirrorless video. Cameras like the D850 were amazing for photography, but video was never the main focus. For a long time, filmmakers, videographers simply did not take Nikon seriously for video. Nobody really wanted to use Nikon. There were a lot of shades online on Nikon that it's potato and what have you. But the narrative has really changed, and it has changed really fast. In 2024, Nikon acquired Red Digital Cinema, and we all know Red is one of the most respected cinema camera companies in the world. And Nikon buying Red clearly showed intent. Not long after, Nikon officially announced the Nikon ZR, a cinema-focused camera developed as a collaboration between Nikon and red. Now, a quick disclaimer, I have not personally used the Nikon ZR yet. Everything I'm saying is based on official information, reviews, sample footages I've seen online, and conversation from filmmakers I trust and I watch online too. And that said, the Nikon ZR is one of the most interesting camera released recently. Like, this camera is just simply amazing. The Nikon ZR records internal 6K, video, supports 12-bit RAW. It has an internal red RAW codec with, red color science built in, and this is very huge for filmmakers. And because filmmakers have been asking for this level of image quality in smaller mirrorless cameras, especially Sony users have been asking for this kind of features on a more affordable body like the Sony FX3, and ZR is even smaller than the Sony FX3 aside the screen though, because it comes with a 4-inch high brightness screen. Like, this screen is sometimes, it means that you don't even need an external monitor most times, and it has professional video tools, even though it lacks some other professional video tools too. But it has autofocus, like, subject detection, and it is clearly built for video in mind. Now, let me talk about the Nikon Z6 III, because the camera also deserves an attention, because around $2,200, the Z6 Mark III offers 6K internal RAW in a compact mirrorless body. It doesn't have open gates, but for the kind of documentary and the real world work I do, open gate is not a deal breaker for me. And for the price, you can achieve a cinematic look without spending on cinema cameras like the Red Raptor, Red Komodo, and it just makes this camera really special. I have heard some people mention that the Red RAW codec in the Nikon ZR have a bit of noise. I also wish that there's a more compressed RAW version in this camera like we have in the Red Komodo, but even with that, the value here is undeniable. Some people also complain about the memory card in the ZR compartment that is in the same compartment with the battery, but realistically, those things are things you can actually work around. You can, buy 2 ZR cameras for the price of 1 FX3. And that matters, especially for beginner filmmakers and, people that have small teams. Now, let's talk about Panasonic. So I'm going to see my guy now, Archive. Yeah. Hi bro, how you doing?
Yo.
So he's actually using, this is Archive guys, and he's a very good, talented filmmaker. Are you a documentary filmmaker? What do you do?
I also do documentaries.
Okay, he's also a good documentary filmmaker based here in Abuja, and he just got the Lumix S1 Mark II. How long have you been using this camera?
The S1 II?
The S1 II, the S1 II.
I've been using this not up to a month now. Barely a month, barely a week even. Yeah, but I've been using the Lumix for almost a year.
So what's your experience like with the Lumix camera?
Beautiful. It's a beautiful experience.
Like compared with Sony. Do you use Sony at all?
I use Sony too. I use Sony. I use a lot. I use different brands. I use different cameras. But I especially I have a special liking for Lumix.
So can you run us through the specs of this camera?
Yeah, sure. It's a full frame 24 megapixel sensor.
And guys, guess what? I've been seeing this. This is the first time I'm seeing this in real life. I've been seeing this online, and I used to think FX3 as the best build quality when it comes to mirrorless camera like this. But when I touch this, bro, this is actually built like a tank. This camera is not, don't look at it that it's black or anything. It's still very very solid.
Very solid, and it has this very interesting thing you can do with the screen. I think it's new on the A7 IV, but this has
this same that you can tilt and
No, I wouldn't say it's my favorite feature of the camera, but I think it's really cool. I don't think I have a use case for this, personally speaking. I don't think I do, but I think it's really cool to have
And what's the lowest base ISO?
800 as well.
800.
I think
Okay.
640.
640, just like the Sony A7S3 and the FX3. So have you been able to test this camera?
Yeah, I have. I've taken it out a couple of times. And I'm still doing lots of tests on the S1 too.
When I talk about how Lumix and Nikon is doing amazing cameras out there and nobody's talking about them, you know, people come for me and say something like, you know, have you seen the FX3? Have you seen the FX6? Have you used the FX3 before?
Many times.
So, and you've been using this for more than a week now, right?
Yeah.
So compared to FX3, what do you have to say?
Comparing this to the FX3, I'm not going to lie. I pick this every single time over the FX3.
Sony users are definitely not going to like this one. So guys, if you want me and Archive to do more detailed video, a review video about the Lumix S1 Mark II, let me know in the comment section. Again, because the S1 Mark II is also doing something special, you get open gate recording, multiple eye-based ISO options, and a camera that is clearly designed with filmmakers in mind. This is not to throw shades at any brand, but I think Lumix is actually doing amazing work. Because for a long time, autofocus was Panasonic's weak point. Sony owned that space, but today, the gap has been closed significantly. So have you used the open gate on this camera?
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of people say things like open gates is very overrated. As a documentary filmmaker, I think it is, because I hardly need to, you know, deliver for my clients in vertical formats. Like I always use the horizontal, which is fine for me most times. And if I want to shoot vertically, I will just, you know, shoot it directly in vertically. To me, I feel like I will get more from my camera, best quality, shooting vertical if I want to use it in vertical. So what do you have to say about that?
I don't think the open gate is overrated. Let me give you a couple of reasons. Allow me, please. First off, you're getting 6K quality, yeah? And we live in a day and age where social media is growing every single minute. And even for documentary filmmakers, I do documentaries too, I want to be able to shoot vertically and still repurpose that same clip without breaking, you know, my setting or breaking the act in front of me just to get it in vertical again. So why don't I just shoot 6K open gate, which this camera can do? And I can argue that it is one of the only cameras that does 60 frames per second open gate at 6K quality or 5.1K.
Can your FX3 ever? Can your FX6 ever? And how much does this camera cost? Some people might be wondering, how much does it cost?
Maybe you want to do the conversion in, I don't know.
Just tell us in dollars.
In dollars, I think brand new is selling for around 2009, 2006.
And how much is Sony FX3?
More.
I think Sony FX3 is about $4,000.
Yeah.
So that means with a little bit more, you can get almost two S1 Mark II.
Yeah.
For the price of one FX3.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Nikon and Panasonic autofocus system has improved a lot, and I've seen a lot of videos about this online. I've not used them, you know, personally, but I know that they are more than capable with the example of footages I've seen online. And another big shift is the lens flexibility. With adapters, you can use Sony lenses on Nikon body now, because there's an adapter Nikon just made called Mega Adapt for Nikon ZR and other Nikon cameras, and this is huge. It means if you are coming from Sony, you don't need to sell all your lenses to switch system. The barriers are just slowly disappearing. Now, let me be very clear. Calling any brand potato is a personal option, not a fact. Sony still makes excellent cameras, but in my opinion, Sony just needs to step up at the prosumer level. You know, many features that used to be locked behind extremely expensive Sony cameras like the Venice, you know, the Burano, are now showing up in more affordable cameras from Nikon, Panasonic, and Blackmagic cameras. And for beginner filmmakers and, you know, prosumer filmmakers, that matters a lot. Sony, I don't know if anybody from Sony is watching this video, but please, you need to step up. And this tells me something simple, that it's not just about camera brands anymore. In 2025, 2026, it's not just about camera brand, because most camera released in the last 2 years or sometimes even 3 years are genuinely good, and any of them can produce beautiful images. The difference now is the workflow, ergonomics, codec, and how well the camera fits the type of work you do. It's no longer about what type of camera, what brand of camera, but the type of camera. And one thing I really love about this is that the advantage is choice. The disadvantage is a lot of creatives are confused, especially for people that are starting out. Personally, I'm considering upgrading from Sony since I already own Sony lenses. I'm thinking of the Nikon ecosystem to start with, because it makes a lot of sense right now, especially with the Nikon ZR and the Z6 Mark III. I'm actively looking for opportunities to test these cameras properly. So if you have it and you're in Nigeria, please let me know. If you have, the Nikon ZR, Nikon Z6 Mark III, or even the Lumix S1 Mark II, and you're open to letting me review it, please reach out and let's do this together. So my name is Sanfred Ojo, and I'm a documentary filmmaker based in Abuja, Nigeria, and I've been shooting documentary for a few years now. And this YouTube channel exists to educate filmmakers, cut through hypes and help creatives make better decisions. Thank you so much if you've watched to this point. I'll see you in my next video.